Good afternoon. I'm Tenzja Young, Development Coordinator at ACE, and I'm happy to welcome you to this webinar on best practices for chamber travel with our special guest, Ian Scott, General Manager of Central Holidays West. We'll start in a couple minutes and let a few other folks join us. In the meantime, remember to please place your phone on mute and refrain from placing the call on hold to avoid any background noise or unnecessary interruptions. This webinar will be recorded. The link to the webinar will be sent via email to all attendees. Again, let's give a few other folks a couple minutes to join. There will be a minute or two of silence. Okay, welcome again, everyone. We're happy to have you here today for this webinar on best practices for chamber travel, featuring Ian Scott. Before I turn the program over, we have a few housekeeping notes. First, please remember to place your phone on mute and refrain from placing the call on hold to avoid any background noise or unnecessary interruptions. Second, we have reserved time for questions at the end of the webinar. If you have any questions, please ask them using the question function in the webinar access panel. The question box is in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Just type in your questions and we will read them aloud. This webinar should take no longer than an hour, and it will be recorded and the link will be emailed to all attendees. Ian Scott is the General Manager of Central Holidays West. Over the years, Central Holidays has been a reliable and trusted partner of ACCE. ACCE's leadership values the relationship which we have built over the years and have themselves participated on many of Central Holidays trips. Now, here's Ian Scott.
Thank you, Tenzja, and thank you all for attending our webinar on chamber travel best practices. It's great to be here again, and it's great to be the official partner and corporate sponsor of ACCE. Today, what I would like to go through is the best practices of creating a travel program. This style of program is what we call fundraising or non-dues revenue international awareness programs. But before we discuss a little bit about how to select a company, where to go, when to go, etc., I'd like to give you a brief insight into who Central Holidays West is. We have been in business since 1972, and we class ourselves as a travel wholesaler. As a travel wholesaler, we contract at the source, hotels, buses, airlines, guides, venues along the way, and by contracting at the source, we can bring forth tremendous value for money and quality. We are a member of Sakara International, which has thousands of employees worldwide. Sakara owns riverboats, hotels, bus companies, and other travel-related entities. And we have offices all over the world. We've got an office in New Jersey as well as in California. We have sub-offices in the United States, as well as Paris, Rome, London, Delhi, and Cairo. Again, we're very proud to be the official travel partner of the Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives. And we're dedicated to revealing the treasures of the world, going a little bit off the beaten track understanding not only and seeing the destination, seeing, for example, the Colosseum in Rome or the Blue Lagoon in Iceland, but also getting a little bit further and deeper into the economy, the social systems, learning about people with people-to-people interactions in the destinations, and bringing something a little bit different that you may not gain elsewhere. We class ourselves as a wholesaler because we contract directly with sources, the leader in first-class 4-star programs in the United States, as we bring forth tremendous value for money. Now, off we go. I've always said, and my grandmother used to say, travel is an education, and it is all a privilege, and it certainly is. I may be a little biased in this, but I believe everybody should travel, whether it's interstate or overseas, because there's so much that can be learnt from people living in the different destinations. But we call our programs international awareness programs. And the benefits we see from these programs are, of course, first of all, non-dues revenue. Everybody's looking for new ways to build non-dues revenue, and this is a great way. Creating an international footprint for a chamber. Large metros, state chamber associations may already have an international footprint, but other chambers may not. And travel is a great way that you can bring your chamber and give it an international footprint. We'll discuss a little bit more about this in a moment. You have the opportunity through an international awareness program to bring forth a leadership role in your local community to educate those members and members of the local public about business, social practices, values, and the way of life outside the United States. A great way to reward staff is through the free trips or discounted trips earned on an international awareness program. And one of the best parts of travel is it's always fun. It always builds long-lasting relationships. The last day of any travel program is always difficult because people are saying goodbye to a group of people that they've only just met, and they've been spending maybe a week, 9 days, 10 days together, and have built long-lasting friendships on those travel programs. Now, steps to create a chamber travel program. I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible in this webinar to bring forth what we class as the correct way to bring forth success. There are no guarantees in a travel program, but some destinations and a procedure, if you follow it, will guarantee or give you a better possibility of success. And one of the things that you need to understand is, and we'll discuss, is selecting the right travel partner for you, selecting the right destination. How do you select a date? How many trips should I plan in a calendar year? Who are my potential travelers or prospects? The horizons of time to when do we start a travel program? When do we market? We'll discuss that shortly too, and the marketing aspects. We'll also discuss member and traveler benefits and complementary spaces on the program. Now, selecting a travel partner. It's always a good practice whenever doing chamber travel to select a partner. And you'll notice we mention partner throughout this program. We are here for you, and we are there to assist not only in providing the travel plans, but also to give you ideas on marketing, getting the message out. How do you work with travelers? How do you work with members in the form of travel programs? So it's always a good idea to work with a company who builds the programs themselves, i.e. a wholesaler, somebody that can offer true value and plans the programs themselves. A company that's been in fundraising travel for many years, not vacations. And I make the distinction here. Fundraising travel is when you take a program and you market it to an audience you may not currently know. A vacation is usually a program with a trip with family and friends that you already know. You've got 5, 6, 10 people that's going to be traveling with you. Fundraising programs are different because you may not know your audience. Align yourself and partner with an entity that has the full turnkey package. Destination management, marketing assistance, product presentation and business development managers that have been to the destinations, and accounting assistance. A company that offers unique destinations, not offered in your community or in your area. A company that has the power of shared departures. Now, some of you have already got travel programs and know that they can gain 30, 40, 50, 100 people on a travel program. But if you're starting out for the first time, you don't know how many people you are going to produce. So we have what's called shared departures. Our destinations are programs where on a particular date we'll have 1, 2, 3 chambers traveling together, and together you will create the numbers to get that departure date running. A company that doesn't advertise on their website. This is very, very important. Your travelers are your gold, and as a company involved in fundraising travel, we believe that we will not place prices, departure dates, or anything such as that on our website. All we have is programs. We don't want a prospective traveler coming to our website and seeing that it's $19.99 to go to this particular place, and the chamber that they are traveling with decided to take a little bit more fundraising than normal, and so their prices are a little higher than that. So our commitment is to you to make sure that you are not price matched anywhere in the industry from us. Also a company that protects your affinity. As I mentioned, your travelers, your members are your gold, and a company that you partner with should not be attracting or emailing them on any future travel. We believe that we will only discuss travel at travel presentations or email a traveler once they have signed up for a program with you. If they don't sign up for a program, if you do a trip in 2018 and you do not do a trip in 2019, those travelers from 2018 will hear nothing from us. You spent a lot of time cultivating that list, cultivating those travelers, and they belong to you. Now, payments from passengers to the company. I'm going to loosely go over this, but it's a very important part of chamber travel, and it's a way that you can protect yourself and the chamber. In approximately, I think it's about 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago, Central Holidays bailed out 28 chambers, their programs with an East Coast company called ABC Destinations. They went bankrupt or ceased operation and left 1,100 travelers without a program. Now, Central Holidays went out and assisted with credit card refunds and rebooking for all travelers that paid by credit card. But Anybody that paid by check, they were out because they didn't have any of the protections of the credit card company. I strongly recommend that you encourage everybody that takes a travel program with you, an international awareness program with you, that they make their deposit and final payment by credit card. There are some entities transacting inside the Chamber Marketplace now that will give you a special discount, an early bird discount or a special price discount if you pay by a certain date and then your traveler pays by check. I don't recommend that. I'm not saying that any company is going out of business, but why enter that arena when, if you recommend that all your travelers pay by credit card, you and your chamber are covered. Now, selecting destination, as I mentioned, there's no guarantees in fundraising, but there are some ways of selecting a destination which will increase your success. Select a destination that's not readily available in the local area, in the Sunday paper, for example, or that if you are in a destination that has a hub for a particular area, try and avoid those hubs. Select a destination that's not easily traveled to from your local area, and I'm going to extend that a little bit. A 9-day trip, 7-night program with a foreign language. If you can bring forth a foreign language into the program, you will increase your participation. Once you go over 9 days, your participation will drop by about 40%. So do keep that in mind. The U.S. travel marketplace is a 9-day, 7-night program. If we've got any Canadians on the webinar, then you can go a little longer. You can go 10 and 12 days quite easily. Offer a value price program, not a cheap trip, but a well-negotiated, quality, first-class, 4-star program in centrally located hotels. And that is 3 steps to increase your success rate. Getting into a deeper understanding of programs. Success, again, that 7-night, 9-day trip. The least amounts of packs and unpacks. To today's day and age, there are very few people that enjoy 1 night here, 1 night there, 1 night somewhere else. We operate a lot of 1 destination, 2 destination centers with very few packs. Make sure that you have home air from your home airport or the closest gateway to your chamber and your travelers. First class centrally located hotels, included meals, but not all. Included tours, but not all. Why is that? When you're developing a fundraising international awareness program, you want to cast a net as wide as possible for prospective travelers. Many people do not want all meals included because they want to go out and sample local cuisine by themselves. So usually you'll find we have between a daily breakfast, some lunches, and 3 to 4 dinners on all our programs. And that works very, very well. Included tours. Not all tours are included. We want to cater to 2 demographics here. The person that's never been on a tour program before, an independent traveler, and somebody that's been on many, many tour programs and escorted trips. The person that's an independent traveler might be deciding to try and do an organized package for the first time. They'll be highly happy with the air, the hotel arrangements, somebody to look after them, a tour director on the program, included meals, but not all, and some tours. Again, always city tours and about 2 or 3 additional tours on top of that. Then there are 3 days when that independent traveler can maybe rent a car, go for a walk, do nothing at all, and relax. So it allows them to come on your program. It also allows the individual that's been on many tour programs in the past. On those 3 days, we always have optional tours that can be purchased so that you can be on the go every day on the program. Now we cater to both major demographics of a travel program, the independent traveler and the person that's been on tour programs in the past. Always have assistants on the trips, hosts, tour directors, guides. It's important. Again, we've mentioned it before, a program that's not found readily available in the market, or also readily available in the chamber market. And again, that competitively priced program. If you haven't started a program, an international awareness program before, and you're contemplating it, I strongly recommend coming in with destinations with a name, that's somewhere that people have heard of, whether it be Spain, the Costa del Sol, the Rock of Gibraltar, for example, whether it be Sicily or Tuscany, the Chianti regions, Palermo, whether it be Budapest, Vienna, Prague, or Venice in Italy. Come out with something with some notoriety that people are comfortable in knowing, but something that we can bring forth a tremendous price to. Once your affinity program, and once you have done a few trips, a few years, you can then branch out to more exotics, maybe to South America, to Argentina and Brazil. Go and see Rio de Janeiro. Head out to Australia, to the Barrier Reef, or Machu Picchu in Peru, or see the pyramids in Egypt. Those are all programs that once the affinity has been built, you can expand to exotic destinations. Selecting a date. Again, there are no guarantees in this business, but there are some rules to bring forth more success. And now to always try to plan your program when it could be inclement weather at home. I try not to offer programs in summer because people historically have been waiting for summer to come so they can spend time in the garden, visit with family, enjoy summer in the United States. So February, March, April, September, October, November are great times to be heading overseas. Now, obviously, if we're going Southern Hemisphere, then we try and be in those shoulder periods of March, April, September, October. When do you need your profit for? Is another great period. We haven't discussed profit yet. We will do soon. But do you need profit in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or fourth quarter? Based on this webinar now, you would be looking at third and fourth quarter 2018 profit. When can I dedicate time to launch the program? Another great time. It's just a bandwidth. What bandwidth do you have? Avoid things such as religious holidays, Easter, Thanksgiving, of course, Christmas, and such things as that. Those are important factors. Now, how many trips should you plan in a year? If you are starting out for the first time, this is a very important section. The way that this particular style of program works is you need to build your affinity, build the camaraderie on the program. You offer one program. People go on that program, and they don't know people from the local area, but John and Alice meets Anne and Steve and become friends as they're traveling through Tuscany. They return home and reconnect and have dinners and social events together. And maybe 3, 4, 5 people do this. And before you know it, because of their positive experience, they start building little travel clubs, and they start inviting their friends and family members to travel with the chamber. And that's most important. The more travel opportunities you offer to your travelers, before you get the affinity going, the harder it is to create the affinity. I strongly recommend only one. Even if you have a strong travel program already, no more than 2 trips in a calendar year. Because if you do offer more than that, you will hamper the affinity building. And John and Alice may never meet those friends of Anne and Steve, and they may never reconnect after the meeting, after the travel program. So we strongly recommend 1 to 2. If you do have an enter into conversations and somebody says, hey, you should be doing 2, 3, 4, 5 trips in a calendar year, that individual doesn't have the chamber's interest at heart. Your travel program will very quickly either not start or will wilt and start having issues because of that lack of affinity. Now, who are my audience? Who's the audience, and who do I attract? Board members have the money. They usually have the time to travel. Chamber members, of course. Message out to all chamber members, and encourage your chamber members to tell their employees about the chamber's travel program. The family of member employees is important too. The larger the net, the more success that you'll get. The general public is important. There are chambers that we partner with that all they produce is chamber members on their travel programs. But the majority of travelers in a chamber international awareness program are going to be members from the general public. So it's important to get the message out there, to build strong alliances with charity groups, other business organizations, maybe parks and recreations in the area, retirement associations, local colleges and universities. You'll find that some colleges require students to go overseas and experience overseas before they can graduate. So local community colleges and universities could be great partners of yours. Senior centers, as I mentioned, and parks and recreations are great ways, and other fundraising organizations. There are other entities looking for non-dues revenue too that you can partner with. Now, getting the message out is very important. As you can see here, this is a chamber that in the northeast of the United States that has a lovely white wall, and they advertise their trips on there. They're heading to Ireland on this particular. Everybody that stops the traffic light in front of the chamber gets the advertisement. It is important to promote your trip in advance. We strongly recommend promoting minimum of 9 months ahead of the departure date, ideally. But if you can do it beforehand, even better. But we are still very comfortable to be planning a trip for the fall of 2018. Get the message out to your social media, to Facebook, all your social media accounts. Even if you're not sure what the destination is right now, you could send out a message to everybody that follows you on Facebook. Look for additional information. We're going to travel in 2018. More information to follow. You'll start getting followers from the curiosity factor of that. Make sure that you get member email blasts out, past traveler email blasts. Make sure there's plenty of photograph, interesting trivia, and such things as that. Local newspapers and business journals are a great way to get the message out to. Chambers are great at networking, the best in the country. You usually know members of the media, local papers, journals, and such things as that. Have a word with them and can gain you can gain information in that publication. Senior publications, the publications that are in front of usually maybe the drugstore or the supermarket. These are a great resource to get to the mature American traveler who would love to have a connection with the chamber. They're probably not members, but the chamber has a great reputation, and they would like to connect with the chamber. Travel is a great way to gain a new revenue stream from the mature American or the senior American traveler that you're currently not receiving any dues from. And these senior publications are extremely inexpensive and extremely effective to get the message out. Free press releases, again, from the local news, radio spots. I know many of you have radio spots that you have business conversations on a daily or sometimes weekly basis. We have done many radio slots. Just a quick advertisement that the chamber's going here and there, and please call the chamber for additional information. Local TV. Again, I'm sure that the chamber knows the local TV outlets. The Roads Chamber 2 years ago had a small infomercial on the 6 o'clock news about their particular trip. It came under the auspice of international awareness programs and programs that the chamber is doing to educate the local public and its membership about travel and international awareness. After that little slot on the TV, their trip sold out within 7 days. Treat the marketing of this as you would do any membership drive, and you will gain success on the program. Here's a lovely piece about curiosity of travelers to Cuba. The mass media, a good friend of mine, Mike McMullen, the president of the Carroll County Chamber in Maryland, just returned back from Italy with 54 people. He does 2 trips a year, and he produces between 50 and 60 people per trip. He has a small, he has a radio show every Sunday, and he sends out a little memo in that radio show about his particular trips. He's been going to Cuba for the last 5 years, but he's now branching out to other destinations, and it really works. Marketing, again, it's important to find a company that can bring forth your well-rounded and professional look for your marketing. A company that will provide full color customized brochures with your logo, with the destination, with the price, with maybe incentives that's happening, and a reservation form on the back. Reservation forms are important. We provide those for you. We provide terms and conditions for you and your travelers, which protects the chamber. We provide camera-ready ads. Should you wish to advertise in the local paper, just give us the dimensions, black and white or color, and we'll make it for you. We'll create full-color wall posters, which go in local restaurants. They're just a little bit larger than a legal-size paper, and those go in maybe member restaurants in the local area, coffee shops, the chamber building, so you can get the message out, again, to many of the local community. We will provide staff that have been there before, that can talk about Scandinavia, that can talk about Iceland, South Africa, Italy, so they can bring forth the vision and an expectation of what your travelers will expect on a program through presentations, webinars, pre-trip departures as well. Presentations are to have your travelers salivate about the trip and to encourage them to reserve on the program. But we also create a pre-departure too, which will educate people and inform them of the trip in front of them. And those usually go out between 20 and 30 days before the trip's departure, those pre-departure. Now, importantly, a booking engine is important too. Our time is important in today's day and age. Central Holidays brings forth a internet booking engine. There's a couple of reasons why we do this. One, we do provide the paper registration form for somebody who is not computer savvy. Those people who fill out that form will bring the paper reservation to the chamber. You'll send it over to us, and we will process the reservation, charge the credit card, and invoice the traveler. But there are some people who are computer savvy. We have developed our booking engine, which is a secure site. You will be given a booking code, which is on your brochure, as well as the address of our internet booking engine. You will place the booking code in that box below, log on, and it will open up a personalized page for your chamber containing the reservation page, which is typable. You type in names, passport numbers, credit cards, and such things as that, and press send. By having this internet booking engine, it's just one less thing that you have to do. You don't have to scan in the paper or mail the paper reservation form over to us. It works very well. You will still, however, be informed when John and Alice do sign up on the internet booking engine, as you will gain a notification that John and Alice, telephone number, email address, home address, has just signed up for whichever trip you selected to partner. So it keeps you in the loop. Now, importantly, again, this booking engine cannot be found on our website. It is a standalone location. Again, we don't want your travelers to go to our website, and if you're partnering to Tuscany with us, and we don't want them to see an Iceland or a Spain program and start calling us and saying, I'd like to go on this particular program instead of Tuscany with XYZ chamber. So we are protecting your affinity throughout the process. Now, free trips. We encourage you to use the free trips that we negotiate on all our programs. It is important. Now, once you gain the frees, use them to your potential. If you have a staff member going on the trip with your chamber travelers, you will build your affinity quicker. You will be able to get to know your travelers, your members, in a different light from outside your local areas. We have chamber partners who have taken this to the next level and have been doing travel for quite some time, and the revenue that they gain from the travel and the fact that the staff members that go on the trip with the members, they are starting to work on new avenues. The revenue that they gain from travel, I know of a couple of partners attracting companies or airlines to fly into smaller airports to service the local area or the region a lot better. I've known chamber partners that are now starting to build donor bases from their travelers and collecting dollar amounts from travelers. So not only are they traveling with them, these people now are becoming active members of the chamber, and additional revenue is being gained from them. Again, keep in mind that your travelers will love to connect with the chamber on this particular trip. Global footprints. David Jameson, a lovely gentleman from South Carolina, the Greater Aiken Chamber, was on one of our programs to Austria and Germany during Oktoberfest a year or two ago, and was in Innsbruck doing a spot of shopping, I believe, for Cuckoo Clocks or Swarovski crystal, and he came across the chamber and went and was looking in the door of the chamber, and a gentleman came up in normal chamber friendly style and said, "Can I help you?" And it was the president of the chamber, this gentleman we're looking at right here on the left side. And David introduced himself, and he said, "Come in." And they had a fabulous interaction. That evening, he was invited back to an event. He met the governor of the state. He met the archbishop. He met dignitaries from the entire area, as well as prominent businesses in the Tyrol and Austrian region. David has built up a relationship which wasn't able to be built. And he had no idea it was happening, but it was a great way to bring forth the benefit of international awareness. Now, for those people who haven't traveled with on one of these programs before, each year we have FAM trips. 2018, we are developing our FAM trips. If you're interested about hearing about our FAM trips and getting on a mailing list for when it's ready, please send me an email to iscott@centralholidays.com in the heading, I want FAM news. These are highly discounted trips, usually sponsored and subsidized by the local government that we're traveling to, and they're always fun. Not only do you get to understand about the local area, we meet with local chambers of commerce and business entities on this program. And you're traveling with chambers. It's a great way not only to learn about international chamber policies, events that's happening, but you also have a great deal of fun and connecting with chambers from the United States too. In the past, we've been to Peru, we've been to Egypt, we've been to Sicily, the Amalfi Coast, Spain, as well as the Piedmont area of Italy. Always great, great fun. Additional information after this presentation, please feel free to call me at 760-212-0779 or info@centralholidayswest.com. There are no silly questions. There are no off-the-charts questions. I've been doing this chamber travel for 12 years nearly. And we've been asked every possible question, and we're happy to assist to make sure that you can create a rewarding and well-participated Chamber International Awareness Program for non-dues revenue. Does anybody have any questions, please?
Well, Ian, it looks like you were extremely thorough as usual. We don't have any particular questions. If you want to maybe highlight one or two points that you definitely don't want any of our attendees to miss, that would be great. But right now, we don't have any questions. If any roll through, I will shout them out.
In the past, when we have done these webinars, people have said, well, what do we do about how much do we make on a program? And that we build a partnership, and that depends on the destination. Some destinations and some chambers make $500–600 per person on the program. The average is $200 to $300 per paying person that a chamber will make on a trip. 20 people, $6,000. 18,000 with 30. It's a nice amount of money from people that historically you do not currently have a revenue stream from. Importantly, I've never run a golf tournament or a village fair or a street market, but I am told by our chamber partners it is so much easier to operate a travel program than a golf tournament or a street market.
All right, Ian, I have a question for you. This question is from Brenda Broomfield. Can you explain a bit more about the FAM trips?
FAM trips are for ACCE members. They go to destinations. They are destinations that we offer throughout the world. They're highly subsidized by Central Holidays West and for example, the Italian tourist office or the Spanish tourist office or one of the major airlines. So we bring forth a tremendous value so you can go and experience a destination, so you can understand what chamber travel is about, so you can meet chamber executives in Spain, in Egypt, in Italy, or in Peru. We had a lovely interaction with the Lima Chamber of Commerce last year in December, and it builds international awareness, but it also, you can gain some great practices, best practices from fellow U.S. chamber execs traveling on the program, on the FAM trip too. I would assess that our next FAM trip is going to be in April, May, and there will be one in November too. They do sell out relatively quickly. If you would like to, as I mentioned, get on that list, send me an email at iscott@centralhardiswest.com and put in there interested in FAMs, and we will get information. It does come from ACCE when those FAM trips come out, but we'll make sure that also that you'll gain the information from us too.
Okay, Ian, from Sheena Armentrout. Do you partner with local chamber member travel agencies?
Great question. To answer in a nutshell, yes, we do. Our commitment, however, is to the chamber. You tell us if we have to partner with the chamber. We are building a partnership with you. I'm going to be very frank with you. The reason people travel with the chamber is not because of Central Hardis West, because of a local travel company. It's because of a connection and a wish to, first of all, to connect with the chamber and to travel with the chamber. Historically, chambers do not work with local entities. They do it themselves. The more people that you put between the traveler and the chamber, the lower the numbers are. Again, the reason that these travelers want to connect and travel with the chamber is because they want to connect and meet with chamber and maybe go into the chamber building to drop off their reservation form or go there for a presentation about the destination. That's why they're traveling. But yes, if you do have a prominent chamber travel company in the chamber and you say to us, yes, we have to partner with them, we certainly will. And we would have a separate conversation about that with you.
Mary Sue Hurt, she asked, what is your most popular trip?
Great question. Now, after a discovery conversation, and a discovery conversation is very similar to what we've discussed here. We don't really come out with, hey, you've got to do this trip. This is the trip you have to do. Based on when you want to travel, when you would like the chamber profit in the chamber's bank, based on your interest, Mr. or Mrs. Chamber Executive, where you want to go. We then build a plan, and we, after that discussion of those specific points, usually a destination drops out. The reason I say, where do you want to go? If there is a chamber executive or somebody in the chamber that's spearing the travel program that wants to go to a destination, it's always better participated upon than a destination that nobody in the chamber wants to go to. I don't want to avoid answering your question. So based on 2018, the top selling destinations for chambers that have already got a travel program up and running are South Africa, Iceland, and still some areas of Europe. like the Italies and the Spain. If you have not done a travel program before, again, if you recall, bring out a destination that's got a famous name to it, something that people in the local area have heard about, something like a Tuscany, something like a Spain, something like an Amalfi Coast, an island program. Something like that, so that you'll be able to understand. So you'll be able to get great value for money, but also everybody's heard of the Chianti regions. If they haven't heard of it, they've drank Italian Chianti wine. They've heard of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or they've heard of the beautiful coast of Naples and Pompeii, or they've heard of the Rock of Gibraltar, or Ernest Hemingway's Rhonda, where he wrote to Whom the Bells Tolls. Those are destinations I strongly recommend you look at first.
Jean Kirshner asks, how much internal chamber support is necessary to successfully organize, advertise, and conduct a trip?
Great question. Great question. Your responsibility as a chamber is to get the message out. I want to be very frank, as I am in all conversations. We can bring forth a product that's worth $10,000. We could give it to you for $1. If you don't get the message out, nobody will know about it and nobody will be on the program. Most of the things that we recommend, and once you decide to partner with us, we will give you a fact sheet of ways that chambers have been getting the message out for the last 10 years. There's some fabulous ways that chambers have attracted travelers, and we'll give you that fact sheet. But and we'll have conversations about this, not just here's the sheet. We'll talk about new ways and how it can be done in your area. But email blasts, social media, radio is great if you've got it. Local advertisements is great. Discussing it at events is important. Those are all important things. The more you get the message out, the more that you will, the more success and the more travelers you will have. And once you've got that travel base built, it's a snowball going down the hill. It keeps going and going and going. And your travelers that have come back off of a very successful trip will become your ambassadors and will start selling for you. So you all of a sudden start getting salesmen everywhere throughout your chamber region who will assist you in building your programs. So in a nutshell, social media, newspapers, if you can do radio, if you can do TV, great. But the rest is what you're normally doing in marketing your events. It's just another extension of what you're currently doing. I cannot give a specific, hey, 1 hour a week, 2 hours a month. I strongly recommend you do be serious of it for the first, when you first start the program, and give it as much as you possibly can with the bandwidth you have.
All right. Wonderful. Ian, thank you so much. That concludes all the questions that we have. Again, thank you for this wonderfully informative webinar, as always. And again, as I told the attendees before, we will be sure once we have this uploaded, it has been recorded, and we will send this out to everyone. Thank you so much, Ian, and thank you, Central Holidays.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.